to me, it all made sense a long time ago. How good Punk was, Brian, AJ, Joe, what Nigel, like these. I mean, there's just been so much talent in wrestling, and I've just been like lucky to be around it. It kind of makes me a prick when people try and showboat some wrestling that just kind of doesn't, in my book, just doesn't cut it. It's not above the board. It's just like, Punk was awesome. I mean, he was super cool. Cabana was great. He was fun. They would, lightheartedly pick on me. Punk was always trying to think of something new. I remember him body slamming me off the top rope and then putting an anaconda vice on me, and then I threw up maybe under the ring after it. I definitely threw up. The anaconda vice was basically real. Like, I didn't resist at all, and boy, oh boy, did he just squeeze me. So Roddy was just like, hey, and he had a very high standard, and Jack Evans is the best pro wrestler that's ever existed. I mean, fight me on it. I mean, he's unique, induplicable. He's incredible on the mic. He's sharp-witted. He can, wherever he goes, he adapts and becomes he is just. And so Roddy, Jack, Austin Aries, who is this guy that I looked up to for my whole, when I was a young kid breaking into IWA Mid-South, he was sort of like, big tough guy walking through the locker room. It was just like being a part of a group of guys that I was just like, okay, like this is where I've leveled up. It's time to I'm gonna really have to
shine.
Fight. Well, I'm gonna have to fight to keep up. No, I'm gonna have to fight to shine. We'd watch these Dragon Gate matches, and they were mind blowing. Like the one that won the Meltzer 5 Stars in 2005, I think, or whatever. Like, this was the wrestling that I would see, and people would say, oh, they can't do that every day. Well, I went there, and we wrestled 5 days a week, and we did it every day. It's easy when that's all you do. When you eat, sleep, breathe, live it, that bump's easy. That stuff, it's pure technique and hard work. And you get smashed around, but guess what? When I left Dragon Gate, I was made out of cement. Cement. You could chop me, I wouldn't turn red. I mean, I got my ass kicked all the time. But and when those matches ended, you were done. I came back from Japan the first time and I said, well, when the match ends, it's really over. Because you're not going to get up from that. It's over. You better be at exhaustion. Because what they do, there's some theories about why are you moving fast at the end? Because that's the most important part, is it's that your final dig, your final plot. So at my matches, I want to be alive, and I want to be in that moment at the end, and then get murdered or get killed by these guys, and then go until there's nothing left, and then stay down. That was sort of how these matches felt to me, and it's just I kept learning how to wrestle because you didn't have to speak the language. We just spoke wrestling, and man, were those guys good. Because I was like, hey, if you guys want to have wrestling that's going to change the world, because that's the thing, that's the pitch that every single promoter, every single wrestling company that's ever begun has called me on the phone and been like, listen, we're going to change the world of wrestling. Check it out. Hold on. We're going to change the world of wrestling. We're going to do, right? We're going to get these guys. They're not going to be just wrestlers. They're going to be great characters, okay? But then they're going to really wrestle really good. Oh, you mean pro wrestling? Okay. Yeah, no, good luck. It's an incredible vision. I can't believe you just thought of it. Have great characters and do good wrestling and with some good storylines that make sense. Oh, you're going to have storylines that make sense? Oh, thank you so much. That's so crystal clear. What a great explanation of your brilliant, what great words. That's like some guy telling me, I'm going to go get a lot of heat on you. Please go tell me how. Anyway, it was just another it was a place where there was learning every day. Because you set up the ring, and I used to think it was normal to sleep near the ring and stuff, because occasionally people do that. Hey, you're tired, you sleep on the mats, you sleep over here. I got to WWE, they're or I got to OVW, you cannot sleep. This is our, and I was like, man, I live on, of course you're gonna sleep here. I sleep in my car too, right? We sleep, these are the places we sleep. Where else are you gonna do it? You can't do it. I was like, okay, I will stay awake for forever. And then I stayed awake for the next 8 years. Right. The hardest thing in the world was to get noticed at OVW and to make any progress. And that, it was I was on fire. Then I got down to Florida and I was like, nobody cares about me. I'm just.
You just felt like I'm one of the boys.
No, but I just they would have meetings. This guy, Big Rob Terry. This guy's gonna make $1 million in this business. Y'all are just gonna be a sport and I would just be like, fuck that. I'm gonna I was I don't care where, but I just knew I knew that. I was not going to fail. Like I said, fuck these guys. If they're gonna make $1 million, so will I. Like whatever it is, I didn't feel like my reputation or my and my attitude when I got to Florida by then was pretty much like, where are the wrestlers at? Like go find me some people who can wrestle. Like go find me the guys that can wrestle. So I got to Florida and they would want us to, like, we would have a show on Tuesday night and they would want us to come in and practice and do the match. And I mean, you know, God bless them because that's what their job was to ask us to do. I just was like, I'm not gonna try. I mean, I'll go like we're walking through it, like as if it's the ring before the show. You kind of walk through it, and you know, I was just like, I don't practice matches. I said, I'll go do them. It's like people are like, oh, you don't do a lot of promos, you don't talk a lot. Yeah, it's because I was just listening and observing because I didn't feel like I had anything to say. I didn't feel like I had the right to say anything because I was young and learning, and really the learning stopped and I just kind of went crazy. So it was like I never really felt like I had gotten to the point where I should be the one sitting out there talking trash. And I think, I mean, that kind of stems from my low self-confidence personal issues.
Right.
But I mean, it really, like, at that point, those guys like Big Show, Floyd Mayweather, and Shane McMahon was there. They really made me feel like I was like a part of the WWE because I did not want to be a part of FCW. I didn't want to be a Florida this or that. No, put me on Raw or ECW or SmackDown. That like I go there and Jamie Noble, who is a guy that in IWA Mid-South, in one match, I'd probably been wrestling for 5 years. In one match, he taught me more than I had learned in the entire time. He just kicked my ass and showed me what wrestling was, and I was like gave me something to like. He walks to the back, cracks a beer, sits by the thing, and I was dying. He's just sitting there sweaty, but he's just having a beer, having a good old time, and I just wanted to be like that. And I kind of know, like, you know, Roddy got to work with him when he was young too, and like just to know that like that level of the game can be so high, and if you're good enough, you can kick ass for 30 minutes and then walk to the back and chill. And I was like, oh my god, I was like literally like, it's approved, you're Evan Bourne. I cut a promo. Hi, I'm Evan Bourne. I'm really boring. I'm gonna be in a little square here while I walk to the ring. Here we go. And then it finishes, and Colin Delaney goes, "Wow, Evan Bourne, like airborne." And I was like, ding, 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 ding. I mean, that was the idea. Like, I'm not saying they had this pull the wool over the people's eyes, but it was more about like selling the show and doing the thing than like being tough and really like, you know, they didn't want people to get hurt. It was a very simple, honest policy. Like, if you're gonna do that, like, let us know before you do something crazy, just so we don't think you're dead or whatever, you know. And that was one thing I noticed. It's like, if I would kind of give them a heads up, hey, I'm gonna do this, and I'll bounce, and it'll look like I land on my head, but I'll probably just be fine. But there's just always refs grabbing you. Are you okay? You okay? Yeah, I go out and get hurt in every match. Like, if I'm hurt, it'll be pretty, like, you know, I don't do, like, you look at my, you know, my resume, not a lot of that stuff there. Because it's not my specialty, and I really don't like getting hurt. I don't like hurting other people. That would be like the worst thing that could happen to me would be to hurt somebody else in the ring. And like, I've had a couple like scares, and it's just, man, that's just something I try and avoid. So with that match, I felt pretty confident with how everything was going. I never could have expected the way it would feel when you climb that ladder and touch that briefcase. It's worth learning to wrestle and doing everything I did just to do that, just to hear it, to feel it, like that like I said, the energy that goes up the arena and back down and goes, that's like the most centered I'd ever had it. When you're like, it's just extraordinary. The allotments for marijuana were much tighter, so you couldn't have like a molecule in your system. Now it's like, it's a little bit more lenient, and they were testing me every month. So that's sort of how I got bopped there. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just so embarrassing and so shameful. It's like, they never posted anything about me on the website ever. You know, if you want to ask about investment, they weren't going out of their way to add extra investment to me.
Right.
But it's like, and then you see that on the website and you're like, oh yeah, there's my real name. Oh, this is the only thing about me online. Great. No, you know what I mean? No, like, dude does 1,000 hospital visits, and I'm not asking for attention for that, but it just, I don't know, it felt like a little bit betrayal. I was like, why do we have to sell the guys out like that? Everything's private. Like, we don't say, hey, hey, we figure out who's winning before the matches. I just, like, it's the policy. It's just, but it's just shaming, and that's not really what you do to people who have problems. Like,
what was it like working with Hunter?
Delirious or Triple H?
Triple H.
Now, it's great. Like, the first stuff that I was doing with him is I was the opening act to all his live events. And so he would have these awesome main events, and after my match, he would give me advice like, hey, that move is a little crazy. You don't have to do that on the house show. Save it for TV. Save it for the pay-per-view. I mean, just really brilliant stuff. Hey, stay down. Hey, stuff that he would tell me, I would do it the next day, and it was like instantaneous action. He knew how the crowd breathed. He knew what they felt. Like he understood it from all angles, but he was had a little management role, but he was mainly just a wrestler. And he was just in the locker. I mean, he was just a brother in the locker room, working hard and I just did. I did a few matches. I wrestled Roddy. I wrestled Steen. They were good matches. I wasn't out. I didn't get to go there with the same frequency because I was doing Dragon Gate and stuff. And then, so the after side of things, the after PWG was when my second run kind of came through, and those were awesome. I started out doing Bola. The first show back from WWE that I did that made me fall in love with wrestling was this Bola. What do you want me to say? He's the best wrestler ever? I don't know. He's fucking great. Are you kidding me? He's been awesome since he was 17. He has the best work ethic. He is he just like the Bucks. He's an honorable guy. He's a good guy. He can do anything. He's capable of everything. He doesn't hurt anybody, and he's everything he does is good. The same thing that happened to me when they put me on Raw, I said the same thing when they put Ricochet on Raw. You can't take that back. You messed up. Now you're going to be on everything. That's why as soon as he was on Raw, I said, yeah, good luck, bro. You're going to be on everything now because you're that good. He's undeniable. And
100%.
so I remember at that Bola, I think Regal was there, and we were speaking about Ricochet, and he's like, oh yeah, Ricochet's great. I'm going to give him a couple years to marinate, and then we'll send him up. And basically that whole time was me and him tagging in New Japan, and then straight from there to NXT, and on his way to being action figure god, every video game, Kofi style run. You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping him from... Good luck stopping him, man.
How long did you sit in jail?
I was in a Japanese police detention center for almost 3 months.
3 months.
2 months. 2 months, really? Okay, let's call it 2 months. And then I was in an immigration detention center for another week. It was, it was really trying. And if you knew how bad my shoulder was, I couldn't take they fed you through. I was in my cell 23 3/4 hours a day this time. There was no leaving. There was no going. I have no excuses. I'm just accountable for that. And
did the other inmates know what you were doing? Did they know that you're a wrestler, or did you have any interaction?
No, but
with them?
I was a jacked American guy. But there was very little interactions except for 15 minutes in the morning where you got to clip your fingernails and shave. I already know what I'm doing. So what I got from Josh and them was the most generic, one-dimensional, because to call it 2D would mean that it implied any depth to it. Okay, it was the most one-dimensional. Hey, yoga, he came to me with a shirt that said Namaste with with the prayer hands, and I was like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm who I am is not something that can be easily said. This flat object. My character that I'm working on is very round. There's multiple influences. If you're just going to take the most simple, basic element and be like, oh, you're the clown guy, or you're the Texan guy, or I understand, and that makes sense for classic wrestling, but the world I live in, nobody gives a shit. They want to say, is he heel or face? And you say, I don't know. Because I've put my life on the line for this movement. Those guys' success, it feels like it's me doing. When I watched the Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers, I felt like it was me tearing the house. It felt that good. It felt that, because I've been saying, watch this shit since 2000 and who the hell knows, 2003, 2002, right? And I've been like, this is where it's at. And when you know the Bucks, you know when you are a professional and you get to work with them, you realize the level that they're at, and they're at a place where when I left WWE, I had this great idea. I was going to start my own federation. I was going to get all the Bullet Club. And I was like, I can get all these guys. They're $1 billion company. They just don't have a TV show. I was like, this will be easy to sell. And they loved it. They hated it. Whatever they took away, that's their takeaway. If they made fun of it, please, enjoy it. Because that's your experience. My experience, I'm so lucky to get to have a ring where people kind of participate and we do this. But when it's over, it's for them to dissect. It's for them to worry about, oh, they didn't tell a story. Oh, he didn't sell this. Who cares? all right, whatever. Like that's your call, but like it has nothing to do with that's all discussion for everybody else. But when I'm painting my canvas, it's up on the wall. It's done. So you can talk about it, but I'm not like it's yours now.